I know people, they talk and talk and talk and not say anything. You don't listen anymore. But there are people who are not talking so much, but when they say something, it's actually relevant. And we want to become this person, we want our insurance partners to become this entity that when they speak up and they speak with their users and they speak with their customers, that they actually listen.
Hi everyone, welcome back to today's episode. Today we're going to be covering marketing automation, and I'm actually not quite sure why we will be covering this topic in an insurance telematics podcast. And I don't even have a script today, so I'm kind of all over the place, but I am an advocate of the audience today, as Harald told me. And Harald, please enlighten me, why will we be talking about marketing automation in insurance telematics? What does it have to do with each other?
Hi, Yasmin. First of all, thank you very much for, being courageous and
I'm trying.
No, you are. And doing this podcast without a script. Because I thought you should be more the advocate of the audience, and you should be, asking the questions that come to mind. And because marketing automation is one of my absolute favorite topics.
Why is that?
Because we have so much information about users, and using this to build beautiful customer journeys is simply great. So we use marketing automation not necessarily for selling something or marketing something for people, but for communicating in a contextual way. We call this event-based interaction.
Interesting.
Think of the following. One thing has a different value depending on where and under which circumstances you provide it. Think of a bottle of water. A bottle of water for you here has a value of €1, $1, right? Because this is what you can buy it for in a store. When you're in the desert and you're extremely thirsty, you would be willing to pay extreme amounts of money to get a bottle of water. And to break this down, as I used to say it, is a piece of bread for somebody who is hungry has a higher value than the best steak in the world for somebody who has already eaten. So there is so much value in providing the right information, the right product, the right offer at the right point of time to the right person. So this is what we're trying to do. So not going a spray and pray approach and simply telling everything to everybody, because people are not receiving these kind of messages. We're living in a world where we are on 20 different social media platforms, and we were receiving messages over email, text message, WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, and other platforms. We are seeing advertisements on television, in the movies. We're seeing it on billboards. We're receiving it on the social media platforms like
overstimulation.
Yeah, we're overstimulated. We're confronted with so many brands and product information every day that we cannot digest this. And what we want to understand your context, where you are, so your location, how you got there, what is there, and what are, surrounding environmental situations. Let me give you an example. We talked about contextual warnings, for example, telling you that your car is parked in an area where there's supposed to be a hailstorm. This is marketing automation.
Really?
Yes, because we use information from your location and we enrich it with information from weather providers and we formulate a message to you.
So it's not only about upselling and cross-selling
products. No. It's all kinds of personalized communication that we can cover with marketing automation. Because otherwise, think of the following. If you're an insurance company, you're building an insurance telematics app. So you're building an app in order to make your customers safer. And what you want to send them contextual messages. So how boring would it be that you need to tell your software developer or let's say the insurance telematics provider to build these, let's say, standard messages that every time around Easter time, they remind you to change your tires from winter tires to summertime tires. Every, 24th of December, 25th of December, they send you a Merry Christmas card or whatever. So these fixed messages, it all becomes very personalized if I have your context. So I can send you this warning about the hailstorm, and I send it to you because it concerns you. I'm not spamming the whole world with this information.
I'm sure this makes the customer journey much smoother in general, and also builds some sense of customer loyalty, since the customer can appreciate that you're targeting their needs and understanding actually their environment and the context that they're in, no?
Absolutely, because they listen. Because when you're sending something, when you're talking, it's actually relevant. I mean, I'm sure I know people. They talk and talk and talk and not say anything.
Yeah.
So you just you don't listen anymore, right? You're not listening.
Yeah.
Even though there's might say one day something interesting, you're not listening anymore. But there are people who are not talking so much, but when they say something, it's actually relevant. And we want to become this person. We want our insurance partners to become this entity that when they speak up and they speak with their users and they speak with their customers, that they actually listen because they know it's relevant. It makes sense for them. And what I mean with marketing automation is that the insurer, the marketing department, the product department, whoever is orchestrating the telematics program, is capable of customizing this kind of communication themselves. They don't need coding. They don't need the developer. They don't need to release a new version of the app to the app stores when we're talking about smartphone telematics. But they can simply build this customer journey. And I also brought an example to show you.
I was just going to ask, how do you build this customer journey?
Yeah, so I will talk about a lot how we do this to make our people understand who are listening on channels like Spotify or Apple Podcasts. But I encourage everybody who's listening over these platforms to also look at our YouTube channel and see what we are doing, because I will be sharing my screen. So what I'm going to do is I will build a journey for people who have the tendency to do a lot of short trips. We talked about this in the past, that the first couple of minutes have a higher tendency or have a high risk. So the probability of you having an accident in one of the first minutes of your trip is higher than if you're on the road already 5, 6, 7, 10 minutes.
Yeah, I remember we covered.
So, and there are a lot of short trips you could actually avoid. So as an insurance company, as somebody in claims management who knows this, or as an actuary, there would be, let's say, a dream situation. If I only knew who is this kind of driver, then I could actually address them and not spray and pray this to everybody. Mm-hmm. So I will show you how we do this.
Please do. I'm looking forward.
When we offer telematics, we have the capability of feeding all the data into marketing automation platforms. And we have a platform we work with together. And I will show you how we built this kind of journey. There is something, it's called segments. A segment is a group of people with a specific behavior that is very dynamic. Mm-hmm. An attribute is something that is, let's say, more stable. Let's say, for example, your address or your gender.
Okay.
These are things that rarely change, mm-hmm. specifically your gender. But there are things they change very often. For example, where you are, or what your current behavior is, what your current scores are. So these are things that are very dynamic. So in this case, I will create a segment that helps me to identify short trip drivers. Mm-hmm. So in this platform, we will go for a data-driven segment, and I will call it podcast short trip drivers. And what I will say is that, and it's really easy because it's an absolute no-code approach. And in this case, I would select everybody.
We're working with no code again. Wow.
Yes, we do. We do, because we want to, let's say, we want to empower everybody to create a customer experience that they envision. It should not be, let's say, necessary to have 10 experts on the table for different topics before you can build something. It should be able to try some things out. And the beauty here is also that you don't have to issue a customer journey when it's done necessarily to all your customers, but you can first test it whether it is perceived well. You can randomly select a couple of hundred users, send it out and see if actually their behavior changes, or if the expected call to action is received and followed. So in this case, I will select everybody who has done a trip, and I will refine this and say at least 3 times within the last 2 weeks. Do you want to go for time or distance? So you want people who are in the car for short time or for short distance?
Short time.
Short time. So we go for minutes. So where the total minutes is less than, let's say, 10. And then we build this segment. And this is live processing. So this goes now to millions and millions and millions of data points, and it selects me out of my population of users in this project. It will select the around 1,700 people who have this kind of behavior. So these 1,700 people have done at least 3 trips that we consider short trips in the last 2 weeks. And the beauty is this segment is alive. So if somebody is evolving over time this behavior, so let's say they do the 3rd trip in 14 days tomorrow, they will automatically go into the segment. So the segment is highly dynamic. So it's not that I built something just for now and I built a one-shot customer journey, but I can build something that lasts forever. So I can simply set up this customer journey. So we are still in the phase where we set the segment. We'll go in the customer journey in a second. But we have something that only concerns people who are actually having this kind of behavior. So I don't need to spray and pray this out to everybody, but only to these specific people. So what I can do now, I can use this and build a campaign. Build a marketing campaign.
How can you do that? So
I go to campaigns, and I will use a campaign that we already built before. It's a first trip event. It doesn't matter, but for the sake of clarity, we'll show that here's a workflow that says if the trigger is done, in this case, it's the first trip, but we will simply put if somebody falls into this segment, then we will send out a push notification. Okay. And in this case, it will say, short trips are actually dangerous and try to avoid them, whatever you want to say. And you can easily change this. So you can
customize it.
Yeah, you simply go there and you simply can put whatever text you have. And it's not necessary that it's a push notification. It can also be an in-app notification. It can be an email. You can even have a bot call you. So you can work with a thing, it's called a webhook. A webhook is something that basically can trigger any kind of, so most applications can work with webhooks. So you can call another application that does a specific action. So you can even have a phone bot with an AI, with a large language model behind that calls people, which we wouldn't do because we tend not to call people when they're behind the wheel. But generally speaking, the beauty is what you can think, you can build. So you can use, in this case, we used information from trips, but I can use locations. So I can have my telematics platform send me an information if somebody is at an international airport and stays there for longer than 20 minutes. And only then I will send out a marketing message where, in this case, I will sell something. In this case, I would offer a travel insurance at the airport.
That's amazing. It's so amazing how it's so easy to navigate with as well and build.
Yeah, it's super easy.
Yeah.
You hear this down there? It's my dog Tapa again, who is
so
with
cute,
his bone.
It's okay. He can make.
He's on his bone. It's very distracting, but he's there.
But I'm slowly understanding why you really love this topic. I mean, it's really interesting.
Because it really gives the insurance company the ability to become the orchestrator of their audience, right? So not being, let's say, constrained to some technical hurdles, but you can basically build everything.
Yeah.
I can do challenges with this tool without coding a challenge.
Yeah, definitely.
I can issue rewards. I can give you specific information. So for example, if I know that you're already on the road for an hour, I can send you an audio message that says, hey, that automatically plays and it's not distracting you, obviously, but says, hey, at the next gas station, please make a stop, get a coffee, it's on us.
Yeah.
So it's really, if you can think it, you can build it.
Yeah. And what's nice about this, since I'm the advocate of the audience today, well, I'm always the advocate of the audience, but it's not intrusive since you are basing this off of the data that you have been collecting for some time. The customer won't feel like they're being spammed, if you get what I mean. So
this is the idea.
Yeah,
the idea is
personalized.
to be useful.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So it's like when you hear the traffic information on when you're in the car and you get the information from a location that is 500 kilometers away, you don't care, right? And it's basically only disturbing your, let's say, interrupting the music. So we are aiming for being useful, that if an information comes from your insurance company, you should read it because it's really valuable.
Yeah. I mean, insurance companies have an amazing thing to work with here. And if I was an insurance company, I would definitely go for this. I mean, this can only enhance the customer experience and lead to customer loyalty, I'm pretty sure.
And this is exactly the idea, because telematics is so often perceived as just driver scoring.
Yeah.
And then I give you, I give you a cashback of $3 per year if you drive a good driver forever.
Yeah.
This is not what it means. What it means is being valuable can also mean to help you avoid risk.
Yeah.
Like telling you that your car is parked in an area with a hailstorm, like telling you that on your way to work tomorrow there will be a severe weather condition. Like, for example, offering you travel insurance at the airport. This is added value,
of
right?
Course,
this is giving you something you can deal with, and it makes sense for you receiving this information.
Yeah, I have one last question for you,
Go.
Harald. And you kind of mentioned it earlier about AI and stuff. What is marketing automation going to look like now with AI and predictive analytics? What is the future of marketing automation? Is there going to be a big change due to these big technological advancements that we're seeing today, or?
It already is. We already use AI in marketing automation because we design messages specifically for the user. So we make sure that you receive the message in the tone of voice from the insurance company, that you receive it in your language, that it uses the name of the product. So it's actually incorporated already, because
So
in
this
the
is
flow,
all with AI.
That's all with some journeys use AI,
Okay.
other journeys don't, that are more, let's say, straightforward. So if I receive a location and you receive a message, there is no AI involved.
Yeah.
But for example, we discussed earlier in another podcast that giving customer, let's say, fixing a problem before the customer even acknowledges that it is a problem,
Yeah.
like if you have wrong settings on your smartphone. This is, for example, where we use marketing automation in combination with large language models, where you receive the information that says, hey, on your iPhone, you need to do this and this and this. And on your Android phone, please follow with your Galaxy S14, whatever, with Android 12,
Yeah.
you need to follow these and these steps. And this is where we incorporate AI in the workflows.
Cool. Thank you so much, Harald. Thank you for taking the time. And thank you for showing me what marketing automation actually is.
Thank you for accepting my invitation to doing a podcast where you have no script.
No, I mean, I really enjoyed this. Plus, I love this topic. I can really say that I really enjoyed filming this podcast, and I'm super interested about this topic. And I hope the audience has learned as much as I did today as well. And we look forward to sharing more of our ideas with you. And please feel free, as usual, to leave any questions, insights, and feedback. We always appreciate your feedback in the comments below.
We do.
Thank you so much.